Well, we're going to crack on with the final game of day number 2 of the opening week here in the OPL 2020. And whilst I feel like last game was a little bit cool, calm and composed with moments of brilliance, I feel like with these two lineups, Jake, we're looking at something pretty explosive.
Yeah, I would expect so as well. I think that these are two of the more aggressive teams in the OPL. So I'm really interested to see how this game in particular goes. As we already mentioned on the couch, it seems like there is a big chip on the Chiefs' shoulders. Obviously losing Swiper and Claire, they're two franchise players in the off-season. A lot of people are kind of writing this one off as a rebuild. However, they seem to think that they can make a lot of waves.
Yeah, I mean, for me, seeing the passion, you know, it's one thing to see it online. It's another to see it in person, and I think for me, just after Claire's interview on the couch with us, you could see there was this burning desire to prove himself and establish himself as, you know, I am that go-to guy. Despite new talent coming in and some of it being pretty prominent, I should still be the one that people synonymously attach with the OPL brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he does have a claim to it. Everything he said on the couch was correct. It's just whether you attribute a lot of those winningness to Claire himself or the teams that he's been surrounded with. However, it is going to be picked up in the top lane. And then Duncrab's going to go back towards the Aphelios that he played yesterday to a good early game start, but not necessarily the latter stages. And Lisa grabs the Rek'Sai, which is interesting because that's just a blind Rek'Sai straight up. Lots of things like Gragas, Olaf still available that can take out Rek'Sai in the jungle.
100%. And, you know, we didn't see much of an impact in the Rek'Sai last game. We want to see, you know, Lisa emit some of that pressure that Rek'Sai is well known for, but because of the bans in a different regard, we're going to see our very first Rumble, which has made such a big resurgence back into the meta.
Yeah, I mean, Rumble's OP at the moment, and would expect that one to be going towards the mid lane for Claire. So this is on blue side, 2 solo laners blinded, which you don't see really all that often. Skimmy, you normally see 1 solo laner taken and then 1 drop down to the second round of picks to try and sneak a counter if you can. And with the complete bottom lane left, you know, not even picked at all for the Chiefs, now you can decide, do you want to get rid of the best AD carries? Like, is it Senna Varus ban times? Or do you want to get rid of the best supports? Do you want to take care of, you know, a Nautilus or a Thresh or something like that? They obviously think Braum is very strong on the current patch, and that's where they go towards.
It's interesting, actually, because the Chiefs have locked in a composition that almost screams the floor is lava. You know, you got Tien and Claire looking to jump up into the air and then land on Croc's massive lava waves, so for me, it spells you find someone, they're pretty much guaranteed to die. But as you quite rightly say, where are the priorities going towards those bans? It has been rather static in the likes of seeing the Misfortunes, you know, your Aphelioses, your Sennas. And that's a Rise ban, which signals to me we don't want you forcing fights on top of us. We, as the Chiefs, want to be the ones dictating that.
Yeah, I mean, also means that they want to group and 5v5 team fight. Rise is one of the best split-pushing solo laners in the game.
100%.
Would give Diane a little bit of a difficult time, I think, in the top lane, just because of the range advantage that Rise is going to have. Also, one of the better answers to Rumble. So I think it's just that double-edged sword. You get rid of it because it's good in both of the lanes that Dragu and Chaz can play. And we'll see Oh, that's interesting. So they get rid of another safe support. So they think the Katsuri is going to want to play something a little bit more hyperscaling and a little bit more safe, it seems.
It seems to me as if they want to play something a little bit more backline and protect. But you've got, well, 3 reliable engage tools right now for Avant to get in your face and try and dissuade the Chiefs from finding the wombo combo dream. Misfortune instantly locked in. No contest on that, but I suppose the interesting part now becomes, what support do they choose to amplify this with?
Thresh would make a lot of sense. I mean, would be one of the last remaining safe supports, can just be a lantern bot on a lot of the mid lane plays. Curious AK, also known for it. Has got an okay matchup in the mid lane. In the lane against Leona.
Ooh, that's an interesting pick.
That is very interesting. That's an old school control mage.
Yeah, Zillion going to come online here. Buff up your boys. I mean, this is something interesting, I suppose, from a step back. You know, you've got Zillion to give your team extra levels. You've got Ornn to give yourself extra items. It's a composition that can definitely scale the ladder, stick around, and sort of pump a lot of resources into Gungrab to make sure that he does the job, basically.
Krabbles is the carry of this team right now. He needs to have an amazing game. And he was on track to have an amazing game versus Legacy yesterday.
Yep. Before
it all really fell apart for him and he burnt summoner spells in a team fight he maybe shouldn't have. So obviously they need to shake that one off, the old Taylor Swift, and get back into this game. And it is good comp for him to be able to do so. I feel like if he can live through the initial burst damage of the end, that he should be able to navigate these team fights with his superior range quite successfully.
Chess should be pretty safe here in the mid lane up against the Rumble, just able to clear those out with the time bombs.
Zillion wins this lane.
Yeah.
Rumble doesn't have a dash. So any champion that has an inherent slow, and he has the best slow in the game, is a point-click, like 90% movement speed slow. Just means that Rumble should honestly die on cooldown if Lisa has any form of advantage.
What else going to be my next follow-up question to you there was, you know, where do we see the priority for this Lisa jungle to go? Are we looking to try and amplify top lane and make sure that Set just does nothing? Or are we just punishing mid lane and saying, look, you've had your chance at Rumble, never pick it again?
Dracu is kind of one of those top laners that you want to leave on an island, right? He plays things like the Mordekaiser, things like the Ornn, so I don't expect Lisa to go up there at all. TM will definitely be able to win the 1v1, and the 2v2 of Elise and Set is just not something you really want to mess with. So I expect it's going to be mid lane ganks into bottom lane control. We talk about a lot, but that does seem to be the flavor of League of Legends that a lot of OPL teams are going towards at the moment.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a characteristic from a global scale of drawing inspiration from the metas overseas, putting your own spin on things based on champion pools, and then cracking on in with it. Here we go, game number 4 of the day. The Chiefs taking on Avant Gaming. Aggression. With a sprinkle of safety, I suppose, is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I'm really interested in this game for a strange reason, right? Because AD carry has always been a pretty good role within O's. So you had like Lost and Radiant, who were, in my opinion, the two like best AD carries when they were playing in the game. And then that moved into a new generation of FBI, King, and Raze. And, you know, FBI laning, King, big brain macro, Raze, really good team fight, and they kind of had this triangle of dynamic.
Yep.
Now there seems to be a new generation of AD carries that are testing to try and get into that, right? King and FBI both obviously overseas now, Raze remaining. And that is your Rare 7, Katsuri, and Gunkrab, in my opinion. So Katsuri versus Gunkrab here, now on better teams, I think, you know, leveled up teams from where they were last year. I'm really interested to see how they're going to be able to perform head-to-head against each other, because they've also both got new supports, right? Korea, CK, and Appy. So this is going to be one of those matchups where, as a lover of Oceanic League of Legends, my eyes are just trained on the bottom lane to see who is going to step up and really try and take that mantle now that, as I said, FBI and King no longer in the OPL.
What kind of idea you can establish yourself as being well known for? Is there the cohesion as a unit? You know, maybe you have an aggressive team and maybe you have an idea of somebody being a little bit more farm-focused. It's be interesting to see exactly, especially with the communication with some of these Korean imports, for instance, if it's all there, or if this furiously spamming pings away to get the job done, support being such an impactful role as it stands. Be good to see if things can get online as TN punches a minion and might have just punched his desk after missing it.
And you can see that already the priority of Rumble coming out. And this is something that, you know, even though I said that Cillian should win this lane, it's definitely not going to be levels 1 to 3. Rumble's got one of the most suppressive 1s to 3 in the game. Just going to be able to spam out that flamethrower, be able to push in Chaz, and then gets a really nice ward onto the Raptor camp. So that means that they know exactly where Lisa is right now. He's gone for a bottom side clear, has himself the level 3. However, pathing away from his red buff is very interesting, because instead could be looking at mid lane right now.
Well, looks like he's traversing down towards the bottom lane, which is making an interesting one. The sweep has been activated very, very early. He's looking for that level 1 dive. It would seem the tunnel would be available if need be. Appy in the wings, waiting for that EQ combo.
And they must be calling a minion, because those two minions are a little bit too far up. They'll be saying, we're going to go on this cannon, and they've waited a very long time for it.
A lot of resources have been invested into this one. Katsuri smells trouble, same with Korea CK. Appy jumps in, that's going to be the instant flay. The Gunkrab pistols spamming away, flashes are burnt from both of the Chiefs bot lane. They're safe for now.
Okay, so it is going to be 2 summoner spells for 3. You can see that Gunkrab had to burn his flash to be able to get in, and everything burnt on the side of Katsuri to be able to get out. That was a nice gank setup, because it was really unexpected. You do not expect a blue side clear into bottom lane gank from behind from something like a Rek'Sai. But you can see right now, flipped map, so Croc is going to go towards the red buff. And it's very strange that Lisa doesn't really feel like he can contest this one.
He was opting to go towards it. He's rewarded it on that ramp. But both junglers are just going to trade out here for the scuttles.
Okay, so Lisa has completely forfeited top side control. That is so much gold available right now for Croc. And the fact that he's not going for it either. He's just clearing out vision. This game doesn't make sense to me anymore, Skip.
Vision is the key, it seems, as the Ghost Ward comes across.
If you're Elise and you have a Set in top lane and a Rumble in mid lane that at the moment can just push, you feel like you win the 1v1. And you can see how scared Lisa is. He feels like he loses the 1v1 as well. But Croc just didn't go for it. A little bit of reserve play coming out of the Chiefs' new uncle.
You have to wonder if there's a degree of caution, perhaps, because of those communication issues that have been highlighted. Whether or not they say, look, we don't want to do anything too advantageous, too crazy at this stage. Let's just execute on a mechanical front rather than trying to do anything too stupid in the early game. But regardless, Lisa was able to find summoners in the bottom lane. Now we're going to see exactly what can happen as Chaz starts to acquire those levels. Level 5 counting. You can see the lane starting to push in his favor now.
Yeah, and it should be after kind of first shot that Chaz gets control of this. You expect him to once again go towards a Hextech GLP as an item. Zillion wants a really good degree of control as well. It was interesting to note that both supports had actually parked towards the mid lane there. It wasn't just Appy after a good early trade with Korea CK. It was both of them trying to converge there and protect their respective mid lane.
Aftershock supports, that's the way. I miss the days of having, your Janis, your Namis.
Do you really?
I do. Especially in Nami in her current state, you pop her E, it's just nuts.
I really hate playing with mage supports.
You do? You feel too squishy?
I've always been like an Alistair Braum player. I just like to be in melee range of people, I think.
A CC bot. The beefy boy, as they look around. Tremors will spot things out as Lisa gets out of harm's way. Chiefs on the prowl. Unable to find really anything in the mid lane. Ooh. They will start the dragon.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? Because Claire hasn't gone back in shop, now will go back in shop, and should be able to use a teleport to get back into the mid lane wave. However, it looks like Avant might want to contest this one.
It's not going down too fast as of yet. That's a beautiful hook to start things off with. The damage is this disgusting. Instant response with the flash from Appy. Down to half. Cannot contest that one. The Drake will be turned upon. 4 members solid. That will fall. And, well, Lisa got popped.
Yeah, I mean, that was really interesting to me, right? Because it wasn't a coordinated push by any stretch of the imagination there. In fact, Chaz was still in mid lane. And against Rumble that's just going back and forth sword boots, you probably don't want to fight a 4v4. However, it looked like, Lisa as well as Appy were certainly interested in at least going for it. That should mean now that this red buff can be, blue buff can be contested. We take another look at it. You can see Chaz just hasn't even started moving yet. Hook is on, no flash going to be used there, and he's just instantly dead within the CC. Appy has to flash out, and Gunkrab couldn't really join. And with that, they're going to also re-engage on this blue buff invade. Need to be careful because they don't have the key ultimate now available. Chaz is there.
Yeah, you feel like this is a comp that wants to play around the likes of that equalizer right now, and Avant know it, they punish it, they go in thick and fast. Gunkrab finds one, and Zillion finds the second. Chaz online now, both with 1 kill to their name. The lead that had been acquired by the Chiefs. Null and void in the matter of moments.
Yeah, exactly right. And you kind of called it out at the start of that engage. If you don't have the equalizer, you don't want to fight. And this is the flip side. Claire is just stuck in mid lane. Late to rotate across. You can see Chaz puts out so much damage with those bombs at this stage of the game. Gunkrab able to pick up 1 kill for himself is very nice. We saw how well he got rolling yesterday. And now they're looking at Katsuri.
They've had a sniff of blood and now they want more. The Moonlight Vigil comes across. The route is good, but just they don't have enough depth to jump on in and dive that one. They might just turn things around there as Appy gets left as a casualty in this exchange. The equalizer's beautiful ticking and talking. Korea CK unable to get the hook. That death sentence would have been so juicy if it had come across. Lisa has no flash and Claire will pick it up. It's 1 for 1. It's a flash for this. It's a play for that. It's Katsuri getting rowdy. And Spawn, what is going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, that's just a really terrible dive coming across. You don't have your teleports available, so you're not going to be able to get down there and equalize numbers. Once again, when you are playing against something like a Rumble, you have to really respect his priority windows with ultimate. That's not happening at all right now for Avant. So 3 kills go across to Katsuri. He's now a very fed boy in the bottom lane, and we've seen Misfortunes already take over games in the OPL. This could certainly be another one.
Definitely could be. We can get some vital bullet times to separate the squad out. We could see ourselves in a very similar situation, especially reminiscent of what was seen in game number 3 before. But for the most part, Chiefs, I'm sure, are happy with this one, despite a little bit of a blip on the radar with the equalizer fight not going in their favor. They are in a 1k gold lead, and they're happy with how the CS is working in their favor so far.
Yeah, and especially they would be happy with how far behind Lisa is, right? He's not even level 6 just yet. has been chased out of his jungle nearly continuously, and that has just given them a huge amount of time. You can see they're set up now on the top side of the map, want to be able to pick themselves up that Rift Herald as well. And if it isn't a phase check or a fight started really advantageously for Avant, as long as Claire has Equalizer, I just don't see how AV now approach this team fight.
Rex, though, not really having a good time in the OPL so far. An early game jungler just unable to find really the big threats that you'd expect from an early game. That's an Ornhorn, and that's a flash as well. Claire surely would have been dead if he had not popped that summon, and multiple members of Avant ready to collapse.
Yeah, they certainly were. However, you've got to say that that's still a lot of tools used before a potential Rift Herald fight, right? You're now no longer going to have on move. You don't have the ultimate either. Chaz took a couple of turret shots, so I feel like even though they do get a good summoner spell in the mid lane, that objective should ultimately go across to the Chiefs. And now they're in a situation where they're going to be able to take early turret plates. They're going to once again be able to prioritize farm, most likely onto Katsuri, and he should be incredibly accelerated in this game.
Speaking of the devil, there it is. Rift Herald acquired. For the most part, hasn't been seen as a objective to close out towers, more so just to acquire as many plates before that 14-minute mark. So whether Chiefs have a different game plan in mind, we'll have to wait and see.
First Herald is a little bit switchy now. Certainly more of a plate play, right? You want to be able to pick up as much early gold as possible. In fact, I personally think that Heralds maybe are more important than Dragons in the early game right now. Just being able to get that snowball rolling. And the only real way to defend it is by parking your strongest members like mid and then being able to rotate to side lanes. But that's just a really crappy way to play the game at time, especially at only 10 minutes in. So we'll see how that exactly works out right now for Avant. Another Dragon coming up and available, and you've got to say that Claire is in a great position to be able to fight it. Has himself those boots too, as well as the Haunting Guard. So it's going to be very strong right now.
Yeah, he's got his mask on. He'll get that damage done. Interesting to note, however, Katsuri opting for the tier 2 boots, whilst Gunkrab has just straight up rushed for the Essence Reaver. So a bit of a disparity when it comes to damage and returns versus the mobility.
Yeah, and I mean, mobility is ultimately more damage, right? Because you have to be able to get yourself in range to be able to hit people. So I don't hate the rush items of the boots too here, especially Misfortune. Her strut is just so much of the damage. And that is an interesting call from Croc. He just crosses to the top side of River and will be able to drop the Dragon. What they're trying to do is trade objectives here. However, it means they will ultimately lose out on the Dragon, which is Ocean. Certainly one of the better ones to take in the early game.
Horn comes out for a second time. It's followed by a beautiful equalizer, which every single member of Avant is stuck on. Claire runs away. Oh, the dash from Lisa could have nearly collapsed. He could have got the ultimate to fully on jump in. That hurts.
But they have Chaz's ultimate. They have a control ward. How did he live? You should be able to control ward out that lantern. He should have been dead to rights. And I don't know how Appy fell down, because ultimately he should have been saved from Chaz there.
Yeah.
That was just complete, I guess, miscommunication or miscoordination coming across from the Avant Gaming lineup. And now Drag you might be in trouble.
Could be indeed, because he's getting bullied in the top lane, especially with Croc having a priority in that top side of the map. Ready and waiting in the wings. But I think, you know, for Chiefs, they've had a fair few too many moments where they've held their breath and walked out confused.
Yeah, and I mean, that should have been control warded. You can see that Appy tries to body block it instead, gets hooked up, and then Chaz just decides that his support's not worth ulting, which, I mean, is a bold call. Maybe one I would disagree with ultimately, but I mean, it's Chaz's call whether he wants to use his ult or not.
Potentially had an idea that the fight may have gone on longer, but to me it looked pretty settled at that.
Once again, they're trying to look for this rumble in the side lane.
Instantly the teleport coming on in. Tien wanting to try and do whatever he can. The Flamethrower is finding a lot of value as the Facebreaker finds it onto 2, instantly forcing out the Resurrect from the Chaz ult. That is Drag, who just caught in the wings as Chiefs rotate down through the river. Now Lisa is in a lot of trouble. Chaz running away. Appy in the Conclave. He's popped that Solar Flare. Sorry, he's popped that shield. And he's popped that Flash out as well. He will not be dived upon. But those are summoners and kills that Chiefs will just keep on taking.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the Chiefs now are just in commanding position. They're so far ahead in this game. 4,000 gold at only 13 minutes. And the idea of let's pick on this Rumble, especially when he's flashless, whilst in theory was a good one, has sucked in actuality. And has not worked whatsoever, no. Skimmy. It just lives for so long. And they've been able to catch multiple members in transition. Now Gunkrab needs to be careful. However, we'll be able to get back out of range. And I feel like Avant need the pace of the game to slow down, because this one is getting out of hand.
It's very, very quickly falling away and out of their grips. And yeah, rightfully, as you say, you feel like a little bit too much energy is being tunneled into Claire. And the fact that, hey, look, we can counterpick this. We can do damage against this. I'm not respecting the fact that there are 4 other hungry members of the Chiefs ready to prove a point. And definitely doing that so far. 4-0 on Katsuri. Remember you highlighted before, looking to try and make himself a statement in this league for this year. Yeah,
absolutely. And I would say he's having a very good performance so far, right? Early kill went across to the Avant Gaming members, and early summoner spells were burnt. However, since that point, has played a very respectable game on Misfortune, has been able to match Gunkrab around Summoner's Rift. And if the Chiefs were able to win this game, it would mean that they finish week 1 undefeated. Which is a statement, right?
It
we
is.
already talked about the fact that they felt like they had a big chip on their shoulder, that they were being underestimated. Beating out Pentanet as well as Avant, 2 of the middle of the pack teams for sure, which is where a lot of the people had Chiefs, is a big statement.
Rotating up to the top lane where Drag, who's really has not had a good time whatsoever. He gets drawn in by that face breaker. He gets drawn in by the rest of the team coming on through the dash away. A full 5-man collapse as Chaz is lagging behind in mid lane.
But did you see what was just happening? Thien was just sitting there hitting the turret and ignoring Dragku's damage and just took the turret down. I mean, there's nothing that Dragku can do in this lane.
He just doesn't care. They're that far ahead at this stage in the game. 5k gold.
At 15 minutes, that's just disgusting.
You hate to see it.
And we're not going to see a GLP build coming out of Chaz. He did go towards Roller. I thought it would be Roller GLP because cooldown really important. Looks like maybe instead he's going to go towards Luda's Echo or something like that. A little bit more damage, a little bit less control, and it's certainly more expensive. But no point really holding control of this bottom side of the map when your top side is just in shambles. That's going to be another Rift Herald picked up. And with already a base turret exposed, one more mistake, and they're just going to be inside your base and, you know, maybe knocking on the door of Nexus turret.
And this is your major concern if you're an Avant fan, right? Because you have a composition that is looking to try and scale on up with the Ornn, with the Zillion, looking to try and get those abilities and items online. You've mixed it in with a little bit of early game, but you've, for the most part, got defeated so hard in this early game that you start to wonder, are we ever going to reach that point of time when we can try to, you know, flip the script in our favor?
Yeah, the early game was on Appy and Lisa really being able to control the river and look for skirmishes, right? And they're currently 0-5. So that's just a nightmare situation. Whereas if you look at someone like Claire, he's in 5 out of 7 kill participation. And maybe they'll hold that thought.
Fresh goes golden. Here's the focus. Oh, he just beautifully sidesteps that Solar Flare. He equalizes, making sure that no member of Avant can walk into that choke point.
Oh.
Katsuri with the bullet time. Tien is an anime character because he is so animated. He jumps on in. He supplies a double kill to Crocs Elise. The Chiefs just don't show any signs of slowing down here.
Yeah, and I mean, we already called out the fact that the Chiefs were willing to play very fast League of Legends. And we felt like Avant's comp needed to scale. Well, Avant just are not taking time to do that right now. They're trying to play the game at the Chiefs' pace, and they're getting dismantled from it.
They are decisive, they are clinical. If they spot a target, they get that target. Now, Croc goes in. He's going to pick up a Drake of his own. He's going to make sure that the soul point, if you will, isn't something that they've put on the back burner. 2 Rift Heralds to their names. Objectives, team fights, you name it. The Chiefs have got their name across it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this has been like as decisive as their game yesterday. Croc now 4-1-4. You know, he's having a terrific game. Katsuri, once again, looking the goods on this Misfortune. And I think the Chiefs really are playing like they have a point to prove early on in this season. A lot of the teams have felt like the off-season was a little bit slower this time around. Like, not everyone boot camp. But, you know, the mix-up really did mean that teams started the scrim blocks a little bit later. But the Chiefs look very focused and switched on right now.
There is such a weight right now on Chaz's shoulders to try and emit some form of pressure or some miracle play to turn the fight around. Because I'll tell you what, that damage, that is a 5-kill Misfortune if you've ever seen one.
I mean, and Gunkrab has to walk so far back. They're still looking for him.
They're not frightened. They're not worried. Chaz does have teleport. He's just going to be sat in the bottom lane going for the recall. This tower may very well fall on down.
Do they look for this? No, they don't. So even though they burned Chaz's TP, and they did have Solar Flare available, they decide that, you know, off the snare from Gunkrab, that they weren't going to look for the team fight. You got to respect it, because they're down now 6,000 gold. this would be, if the Chiefs lost this game, it would be the second biggest throw of the day behind what Order did in game 1.
You'd imagine so. I was like shell-shocked that you said that.
I mean, I get to watch the games as well. I know that we were ahead and that we lost the game. And I know that right now the Chiefs have a huge bloody lead.
Let's flip the script for a second then. So rather than going on about Avant and how they're falling behind, what are their sort of conditions to get back into this one?
Prayer would be a good place to start. So you need a higher power to decide that you deserve to win the game.
I instantly regretted that question after I asked it.
Okay. A little bit more realistic maybe, as I don't think higher powers are interested in League of Legends right now, would be that they need a catastrophic mistake from the Chiefs. Something like a miss smite on a Baron, something like your Fed 80 carry who's got a 600 gold shutdown, maybe face checking Gunkrab and giving away 1,000 gold shutdown or something like that. That is the kind of mistake that you would have to hope for right now if you are Avant. If they don't do that, then you are in big trouble.
So you're talking about slim margins. And Chaz...
Is that a double teleport? No, it's only one.
Tanks the tower, pops his revival. The fight takes place at the tower and in the river. The Baron gets the best seat in the house as the TP's come on through. The Chiefs want a party, and the Chiefs want a parley. They go on through. That is just 3 members deleted. The map is lit up blue. They say, you're dead. The Baron is next. You don't get a free seat. Pay your season pass. Give us your buff and get this job done.
And this is a decisive victory right now for the Chiefs. They have absolutely smashed Avant in this game. 13-3. And this is when I start questioning, what does a Mercy rule actually look like in League of Legends? When do we just pull people off Summoner's Rift and say, no, that's enough. No more.
Call the medic.
Because this is right now a jungler 100-0ing a mid laner, already getting the ultimate out, and then they're losing the fight on multiple fronts. Great hook from Korea CK. That means that Gunkrab has to use the stopwatch. Claire, with the early teleport in, also lays out the red carpet. And that is just decimation across the board.
I mean, if this is a team that are having communication issues, it definitely doesn't seem to be the case, because it's step after step, like a beautifully well-crafted 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle. It's coming together, and it's quite a sight to behold.
Well, the thing is when you are having communication issues, sometimes it's better to just play simple League of Legends, right? See hero, kill hero. And that's exactly what Croc has done this game. He's part of 9 kill participation. He's having an absolutely terrific performance. Happy is going to have to look for an engage here quite soon. Maybe this next wave, because otherwise the Chiefs are going to be in the base.
He doesn't have flash, which does hinder his ability to engage just a tad. Top lane has to be killed, and I mean, they're slowly just losing. The turtle technique isn't working for the most part right now. A lot of resources pumped into Claire, who burns the stopwatch to survive for just that much longer. It's a 1-for-1 so far, and it's the one you don't want it to be on. It's Katsuri doing the damage, now up to 7 kills. He will shred anybody that shows face. And that inhibitor falls on down, but they're not done. Oh boy, are they not done. They want to kill you underneath your Nexus towers. The bullet time, the damage again, the box sits there. It's like a USC fight because they are punching on, and Set is the man in the middle getting it done.
Oh, and Katsuri still does so much damage, but that's actually a 1-team fight for Avant. It's a 3-for-2 trade, and they were able to pick up one of those huge shutdowns. Sure, it wasn't on Katsuri, but Chaz did grab some gold at the back end of that fight. So Avant still signs of life. They needed maybe one additional kill there for you to really feel like that was something that they could hope to swing the game back in their favor. But I guess Infinity Edge coming through soon for Gunkrab. He's going to get the upgrade there from Drag to what I would expect as the first item. And hey, I actually just figured out why Chaz built Luden's Echo and not GLP. I'll talk about it afterwards. So this is the end, looking to just create as much distance as he possibly can, but a great double bomb onto both carries, followed up by Frabble's huge ultimate coming across from Aphelios and really good damage there. However, on the back line, you can see how annoying Set is to deal with, but just a consistent CC and damage that can come out of something like an Ornn, as well as the Zillion combo. And if that double bomb had landed, this would have been a really smooth fight. But you can see that that one finally does. That was a huge shutdown that came across. Katsuri still with a good ultimate, but ultimately is Avant running away with it. And the reason he built Luden's Echo is because he has an Ornn on his team. And he needs an item that is upgradable.
Yes, of course.
We've done it. We did the maths. That's Molten Edge picked up right now for Gunkrab. So he's more happy to fight right now.
Katsuri incredibly safe. Not a single care in the world right now. 10k leads, double Cloud Drakes, that's 20% off your CD for that ultimate, and well, if there's anything to see by based on how this composition is playing around Equalizer, I think you're very happy if you're Claire.
Yeah, absolutely, Claire's stoked by it. Misfortune also pretty ulti reliant as well. And once again, it's going to have to be a mistake. However, now with Baron not available, it is a little bit harder to siege onto these turrets. So what I would like to see the Chiefs do right now is just hold this pressure until next Dragon is available or Baron is available. That way you can guarantee there's no wards on Summoner's Rift. You're not going to get flanked or anything like that. What you don't want to do is overreach when you don't have a Baron available. It is still only 25 minutes into the game. Game's relatively young.
Looking for a slow push. The Equalizer goes out, but it won't do absolutely anything at all. Claire just gets one shot. Guncrab's had enough of him. The box comes out. They thought the engage was going to be good there from Avant, but Avant say, look, we'll take that pick. We don't want any more.
Yeah, and I mean, that was still a pretty good Equalizer. It did a lot of damage. However, they were just so split. They couldn't get the end into the fight at all. You know, multiple members coming from the mid lane. And that's what I meant. They wanted to hold their pressure, but they overextended for it. So good pick up there from Dragon. Did have to burn the flash for it. However, they do get the trade. With that, the big sigh of relief is they can now push outside of their base.
The slow push was looking so good for them with passively, top lane passively pushing in their favor. Mid lane obviously with the super minions, and bot lane wave after wave until we see this next Drake or Baron. The conditions weren't there, but I mean, look at the gold deficits.
Look at mid lane. How is Chaz in the lead? He got a huge shot.
Look at the jungle difference. You're looking at 4k between the two of them.
Oh, yeah.
It's
like,
dirty.
Lisa's not a champion anymore. He's one knock-up and a rotation of spells in a team fight.
No wonder he can one-shot the jungle. Sorry, the Zillion mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a really great game from Croc so far. And I feel like that is the player that primarily the Chiefs have been altering their game style to play around. Croc likes to fight people, and he likes action to happen. As Appy nearly gets caught out there. He has been caught out, in fact.
Happy's in trouble. He does have flash, but he has nowhere to flash to. Pops the solar flare because it looks stylish. And that's about it.
I would argue holding solar flare there for your respawn is probably important.
Absolutely.
Instead, Baron is going to come back up and available. He does have Moby Boots, and his team can kind of tickle the opposition and hope that they keep them interested enough in not starting the Baron to maybe get there in time, but he's not going to have the ulti up. Big cooldown now wasted for the Avant Gaming lineup, just as they felt like they were not getting momentum in their favor. Absolutely not, but like maybe stymieing the momentum of the Chiefs a little bit. Instead, it's going to have to be a trade somewhere on Summoner's Rift. They cannot fight this 45.
Nah, Drake's a while away. And Baron is uncontested. This is as free as it comes. Mid inhib is still gone. Lanes are still pushing relatively in their favor. They can easily transition up to top lane. But an empowered recall, get your items, get the job done, finish it off.
And you can see it's going to be a completed rapid fire cannon coming across for Katsuri as well. I'm actually really surprised that Guncrab is in such touching distance, and with the Molten Edge, you can argue is nearly on parity right now with the AD carry of the Chiefs, even though the AD carry of the Chiefs has some extra safety through some additional movement speed and a stopwatch. Pure damage numbers, right?
Yeah.
Guncrab's still going to be able to do his job. And I think tankiness, Dragku, kind of uncontested as well at the moment. So with the exception of the jungle position, which, once again, is no contest. Lisa lies down and dies in that 1v1. I feel like still options for the Avant Gaming lineup.
This is why I argue, you know, Chaz has such a massive responsibility in this game to really ensure...
Oh, we got a death cap, and that's been upgraded. Chaz is really strong
That's what I mean. Like, this guy can pump out the damage with the time bombs, slow up, speed up, get the job done. Solar Flare comes out. Beautiful onto Katsuri. The Ornn Horn coming on through. That's an equalizer to make sure that the golden stopwatch finds some kind of reprieve, and it's good at that. Katsuri's so low. Lisa jumps and he just does nothing. Down to little health whatsoever. Chaz pops the ultimate on himself. He's running away. He's gonna burn.
Oh!
Burn is the word. The members are going on down. The Chiefs, or what, sub 25%? They just cannot be taken out.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a close team fight, but the amount of damage that came out from Thien onto Guncrab there was just insane. And with that, they should be able to push in and end the game.
The Nexus Tower's full. The core falls. And Avant will fall on this one as the Chiefs, after a long, convincing game, will finalize this day with a victory.
Yeah, and I mean, now they join Legacy at the top of the ladder. It is only week one, it is only 2 games played, but the Chiefs would be absolutely ecstatic with how week 1 has gone, really proving the haters wrong, right? They came into this, people were saying they're somewhere between, the 4th and 5th or 6th pile, that is, Pentanet, Avant, the Chiefs, but they really have been able to step up in a big way. They took down Pentanet yesterday. They now absolutely styled over Avant in this game. One mistake was all it was. Easy closeout, sub 30-minute victory, and very much looking in the goods with the new young lineup.
The momentum, I think, for me, has to be the biggest thing here. Is you're putting together this brand new squad. You're having issues with, people taking their time to get across into the country, with scrim practice, with just all the factors that come into sort of a team game, right? The fact that you can come in, get a clean 2-0, and do it so decisively. If you can run with that momentum, you can definitely put a stop to the naysayers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the change of style is what really has impressed me, right? No longer playing that slow, scaled out team fighting style that you play around Swiper and Raze. Instead, all out aggression for this young lineup. Playing around their jungler. Croc had an awesome performance on that Elise, and just the ability to flick the switch shows how integral some of these players are and how versatile they are.
I mean, counter matchup or not, I think Claire's still incredibly happy that he got the Rumble, right? He was able to put out so much pressure despite falling so much further behind the Zillion. The Zillion just never really managed to find that moment to make sure that Gun Crab could get in there and sort of equal what Katsura was doing with, this 10-0 scoreline.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Zillion was a smart pick there, but they weren't able to get the jungle position rolling, and that really did shut down the whole game plan.
All right, well, we're going to jump back to the couch with our beautiful casters, all the boys in blue. 2 more for you with Nick.
Stomps, and there are stomps, and then there are stomps, and that was a stomp.
The AV stomps are not rising after that game, that's for certain. Not a very good showing from them in the end. I know what Spawn did now. Not the best showing from AV overall. Chaz probably the only person who really had that standout moment. You look towards Chiefs, and what impresses me the most about the Chiefs in that game was who carried the game, right? You think about the first game was a sick combo from Tien and Claire with the 2 carry champions. This time I felt like it was the rest of the team that was doing the work, and to me that's the best sign of all.
Tien, it seems like it's just strong across the board for you guys.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel after that game?
After that game, well, we were confident going into that game that we were going to win anyways, so it's just a normal feeling. I'm not super excited about the win or anything, but I guess I'm happy that I got to beat my high school friend. That's about it.
Who's your high school friend?
Dracu.
Oh, right. Well, screw you, Jacker. Is that like that's really why we get into sport, right? It's
Okay,
just to
fair
humiliate those that we're close to. But you must be feeling good about the team. I mean, we were talking yesterday about the high rotation in the Chiefs lineup, and you're one of the 2 remaining members, sort of stepping up into an elder statesman role and being able to teach some of the guys the Chiefs way.
Definitely. I'm really happy with how the Koreans are integrating within our team. So obviously, we only got him like 4 days ago. It's like he literally flew in on Sunday. We've only been scrimming with him for 4 days. But I think he's fitting in really well, and I'm really happy with the result.
How was the communication today as well? I know Claire mentioned yesterday that it was a bit frantic in team comms. There were points where there was like 5 people speaking at once. Was it more settled today now that everyone's got that first game out of the way?
Today's comms were actually like, it was the exact opposite. So instead of 5 people, I thought barely anyone was talking today.
Really?
So it was like the extreme opposite. So
Was that everyone was just so in sync?
Definitely not. Well, we sort of knew what we were doing, but we can't exactly read each other's minds. So it's too early for that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that'll come with time, I suppose. Remind us, you gave yourself a nickname last split. I can't remember, was it Red Hammer? Red Demon? Blue Demon?
Yeah, it was that, but after
Which one? Red or blue?
Red. But
Demon.
after some consideration, I'm pretty sure I'm an armored sloth because I sleep all the time.
An armored sloth.
That's nice, and it's a nice little throwback. Well, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
You can hang out here while we close out the show, taking a look as we finish out the evening at the results for today. It was Legacy with the first win of the day. A surprising turnaround in the middle of that game. A decisive Baron take took the win for them. Gravitas taking the win game number 2. Pentanet taking out game number 3. A very excited Rogue on the couch with that one. And finally, Chiefs close out the day with the win over Avant for game 4. Rusty, how'd you feel about today?
I was going to say Legacy and Pentanet, even though they both got the victories today, were pushed. Once again, Legacy being pushed twice in their first 2 games of the split, so lots of room for improvement to be seen, definitely. but they still got the wins, and I think that's what matters the most.
Absolutely, and there are chances for improvement because we'll be back next week. Let's take a look at the schedule for next week. For Friday, it is Mammoth versus Legacy game number 1. Direwolves take on Gravitas, Pentanet versus Avant, and Order versus the Chiefs. Again, this is an exciting lineup for next week's schedule. We'll be able to see these teams grow, the communication grow, everyone grow. What we also want to see... Oh, please.
Just before I saw the smirk when it said Order taking on the Chiefs, I think we both know what that means.
Yeah.
Swiper. Tien.
DOS, if you're listening, I can't wait to solo kill you next week.
The Armored Sloth has spoken. Something we want from you guys as well. The anime competition is running that we're going to add your art to the closing credits of the OPL. We've already got some wonderful submissions. All you need to do is create an original artwork in anime style and submit it on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram using the hashtag OPL Anime for your chance to win a champion skin. It's the Guardian at the Stand skins, and you get the champion if you don't already have them. I know a bunch of you out there are amazing drawers. We want to see that art. It can be as complex or as simple as you like. Rusty?
Yes.
You can draw.
Oh, I cannot draw. We painted, Nick. You've seen what we're capable of.
No, but we've done comic book covers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we did. That was a mistake as well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It was?
People think that I can draw because I lucked out on one drawing,
Right, okay.
and I can't draw.
Oh, okay, right. Well, you shouldn't have said anything. You should have just taken the credit and said you can't, you can't enter because you're a caster. And
True.
The rules or something. Pow Pow Os, you get the winning one. It was always going to happen with this one. This one's just far and away. I mean, that's just actual
That's
art.
nuts.
That's just absolutely craps all over anything Rusty could make. So please submit yours. We'll be running it all split and got some cool anime titles to close out the evening. A massive thank you to our sponsor McDonald's. Thanks for hanging out and supporting the OPL, supporting League of Legends in 2020 in Australia and New Zealand. And we're going to continue supporting League of Legends with the MPL. We're going to sit down, play some League as a casting team. We'll be back right after this short break. We'll see you then.